Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with a home clash against Paul Cook's at Chesterfield FC, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be for this match if I was Graham Alexander. We'll start out firstly then with my team at Bradford City. We currently sit 10th in the Sky Bet League 2 table. After 21 matches we've got 8 wins, 7 draws and 6 defeats, scoring 26 goals and conceding 23, which leaves us on a positive 3 goal difference and 31 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a loss, a win, a draw and a draw. Them last couple of matches then have been a 2-1 win at home to high-flying at Portville. Yes, they'd been without a league win in their last 5 matches, but very nice for us to get back to winning ways, and another important 3 points on home soil. We've been excellent at Valley Parade for the large part this season, just one league defeat there so far this campaign. Obviously Andy Cook opening the scoring after 3 minutes with one of the best goals you will see all season, an absolutely unbelievable strike. Unfortunately, Antoine Hackford would pull a goal back for the visitors 5 minutes into the second half. A good finish, to be fair, unmarked. I think it was just outside the penalty area, about 20 yards out, and he finished it perfectly into the side netting. But 9 minutes later, Andy Cook would once again find himself on the score sheet for Bradford City. A great free kick into the box from Richie Small. Debates and arguments of offside. The linesman had his flag up, the Portville fans were sarcastically cheering, and the goal got given anyway. Andy Cook with a brilliant header, and I think 15 goals or maybe 14 goals from him now in all competitions so far this season. He is absolutely flying, and a game which I think we definitely did just about enough to win the 3 points. And the red card, I didn't actually see it at the time in all honesty, so I can't really comment, but from the replay it looks potentially a bit soft. But will Portville be able to have enough time to overturn that red card? I'm not too sure, but judging by their fans' reaction on social media, they probably want Tom Sang suspended. In terms of some of the other last couple of matches, then I don't know why we've got to scroll all the way down to get them back up again, but we had a 3-0 defeat away to Notts County. 4 minutes of madness, but a performance on the whole which wasn't amazing, to be honest with you. 4 goals, like I say, in 3 minutes. Terrible defending. We got completely ripped apart by players like Dan Crowley, Dave McGoldrick. They are players who can certainly do damage at this level. A game with 25 shots, and it certainly didn't feel like that, but if that game finishes 5-2 to Notts County, I don't think either side are really complaining. We also had I don't know why we keep having to do this. This is not ideal. It's not very professional either. If you just like to work Google, actually, that'd be much more appreciated. A 1-0 win at home to Swindon. A terrible performance, terrible game. Swindon offered absolutely nothing in terms of a goal threat, but Callum Kavanagh finally got his first league goal of the season in the middle of December, and that wrapped up all 3 points for Bradford City. Before that one was the 3-2 win away at Stockport County in the Football League Trophy. Obviously, we went 2-0 up inside the first 15 minutes, then 2 individual errors saw us completely blow the lead in that game, but thankfully Callum Kavanagh would score his second of the match to secure us a spot in the EFL Trophy round of 16, I believe, where we will travel to Villa Park to play against Aston Villa's under-21 side, so I am really looking forward to that game. And then just before that match we had a 1-1 draw away at Crewe Alexandra. Omar Bogle opened up the scoring for the host. Alex Patterson would equalise just 8 minutes later, and then he would be sent off at 2 minutes after that. Thankfully though, he will be back for this game against Chesterfield. Absolutely buzzing with that news. When he's fit, when he's available, Alex Patterson is a top player at this level, so I'm buzzing to see him back. I think for me personally, it should come straight back into the starting 11, and this was a good point as well without Andy Cook in the starting 11, or in the squad obviously because he was suspended. Compared though to Chesterfield FC, they currently sit 6th in the Sky Bet League 2 table. After 22 matches they've got 9 wins, 7 draws and 6 defeats. They've scored 36 goals, which is the second most in the entire division. Only Walsall have scored more with 39, but they have also conceded to 25, which is the second most in the top 7. It does leave them though on a positive 11 goal difference and 34 points. Their last couple of matches have been a loss, a win, a win, a win and a loss. They're absolutely flying for their first season back in the EFL. A big club at Chesterfield. They should probably be at least at League 1 level, so I'm delighted to see them finally getting back on track. But let's have a look at their last couple of matches. Most recently they had a 2-0 defeat away to Fleetwood Town. Keane Harrott scored an absolute worldie in that game, but as you can see, Chesterfield dominated possession, had more chances, had loads more shots on target as well, but they just weren't clinical enough in this game. I haven't really done much research on Chesterfield, to be honest with you, so far this season, but it looks like they play a 4-3-3, a 4-1-4-1, which I think could suit Bradford City when obviously we play the 3 box wing backs, one striker, whatever the formation you want to call it. I think that could really suit us because we're obviously going to be pretty solid defensively if they're only going to play the one up front. I know Markande is a very, very good player for this level, should not really be in League 2. He's far too good for that, in all honesty, but I think with our left side of Lewis Richards and Kieran Kelly, they should hopefully be able to deal with them if they do double up. In terms of some of their last couple of matches then before that game, they also had a 1-0 win at home to AFC Wimbledon. Again, with not really many shots on target, just 4 between the two sides. Armando Dobra scoring the only goal of the game in the 3rd minute. I know Chesterfield have had a few disappointing, frustrating draws at home so far this season against the good Wimbledon side, who themselves are very strong at home, but away from home have been a little bit shaky so far this campaign. So that is a pretty good point for the Spyrites. Before that game then, they had a 2-0 win away at Carlisle. Everybody seems to beat Carlisle. Dylan Markande once again on the score sheet, and Will Grigg also securing all 3 points for the visitors, although were they really ever in doubt? Carlisle United are absolutely awful. Again, you look at the stats, it was quite an even game. In all honesty, you would even maybe argue Carlisle slightly edged it in that game, but Chesterfield got the job done, and these are the type of results that you need with these sort of statistics if you do want to be a promotion winning side. They also had I'm going to have to keep scrolling down for this, I really do apologise, a 3-2 win at home to Wigan Athletic in the Football League Trophy 2nd round. It looked like Chesterfield have gone with a pretty strong team for this game. Looking at that start 11, I would say that's largely their full first team, not completely their full first team. Markande obviously didn't start, few changes in the defence, but the people like Drummond, Berry, Dobra, Aldacre, Mandeville, even Grimes, all top players for League 2 level. So to play against a strong League 1 sided Wigan Athletic and get the job done, I'm sure they were delighted with that news. And then also, just before that game, they had a 3-0 win at home to Tranmere. I'm glad that that's the final time we have to do this in today's video. I don't know what the problem is with Google at this moment in time, but look at the stats. They absolutely dominated them. Comfortably deserved to win by probably more than 3 goals in all honesty. If that game finishes 5-0, maybe 5-1, I don't think anybody can really complain. So I'm sure they are delighted with the amount of goals that they have been scoring so far this season and haven't really been conceding too many recently. But before we do go any further with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 50 likes on today's video? That would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What would your starting 11 be for this match, and also what is your score prediction? In terms of my team then for this game, if I was Graham Alexander, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. I thought we did quite well against Port Vale, a very strong Port Vale side, and recently it has certainly been working a lot more for us, with us not really having a good enough partner to Andy Cook. All of our other strikers really are not good enough. In goal, I would go with Sam Walker. I thought against Port Vale it was much more of this Sam Walker performance that we saw from last season rather than this campaign, because I do think for the large part of this season he has been pretty poor. Against Port Vale though, he made a really good save in the second half from Jaden Stockley. I think he can't really do anything about their goal as well, and then apart from that they didn't really threaten too much. At times I'd like him to be a bit more dominant and assertive when it comes to, you know, late corners, late crosses, but maybe that's just to relieve a bit of nerves. He is 6'7", so I do think he could come out and claim balls better, but I'm not going to criticise him too much for that. I thought his distribution was perfect fine as well, so he definitely starts for me in between the sticks. In terms of my back three then, at right centre back I would stick with Aidan Baldwin. I thought he had a pretty poor game against Notts County. It certainly wasn't awful, but I do think he was quite poor against Port Vale. Out of the entire back three, I would say he was the centre half who stood out the least, but he still won a few headers, still stepped in at times as well with it. Just sometimes he does lose that split second of concentration. I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10 for the Port Vale performance, but I'd like to see him start again in this one. I think his ball playing abilities again are going to be very important for us. In the middle, I'm hoping Paul Huntington is going to be fit for this game. Obviously came off around the hour mark, maybe just before it, for Jack Shepherd. He had a tight calf in that game, so hopefully we've brought him off as a precaution. Obviously it didn't cost us, we went on to win the football match, and then he'll be fine for this game against Chesterfield, because I thought he was back to his best against Port Vale. Against Notts County I thought he had a really bad game. Apart from that, he's certainly been a contender for man of the match in all the other matches. You know, the amount of headers he wins, blocks, tackles, proper old school defender. His distribution isn't amazing, but what he brings you defensively certainly warrants a place in this side in my opinion. At left centre back I'd go with Kieran Kelly. It was really nice to see him back in the starting 11. I thought defensively looked pretty solid, won a lot of his aerial duels against the big physical side in Port Vale, and I was quite impressed with his performance. Nothing majorly stand out, maybe a 6.5, 7 out of 10, but just very solid. And I'm glad that he's back fit and available, because I would probably say as an isolated defender he's probably our best centre-back. Maybe that's controversial. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. In terms of my midfield four then, at right wing back, I would stick with Brad Halliday. Against Port Vale, he was comfortably back to his best. They are the type of performances we expect to see from Brad Halliday. He was absolutely excellent, so 100% has to keep his place in the side. Winning tackles, defensively, his positioning was brilliant. His deliveries into the box looked much better as well. I was really impressed with the performance from Brad Halliday. I'd probably give him an 8 out of 10, and towards the end of the game when Port Vale are piling more and more bodies forward, he's still putting tackles in, still stopping crosses. I thought he had a really, really good display, especially in that second half, so he definitely keeps his place in the side. In terms of my two central midfielders then, at first I would go with Richie Smallwood. I thought it was a much better performance from him in the match against Port Vale compared to Notts County, where I thought he got completely torn apart by Dan Crowley. Against Port Vale though, he was much more assertive in there, much more structured. At times he did get bypassed a little bit, but on the whole for me I thought it was a much better performance, and obviously he does get the assist for our second goal. I'll be interested to see how many goal contributions he already has so far this season, because we know he didn't get a single assist until the final game of last season. He actually got 2 in that one, so his set piece deliveries and the people getting on the end of them are now starting to be converted as well, so I would definitely keep him in the side. And partnering him, Alex Patterson absolutely has to come back into this side. I think over the last 3 matches we have missed his drive in midfield, and I think if he was man marking Dan Crowley against Notts County, I don't think that 4 minutes would have happened, because Patterson would have just left one on him, whereas some of his other midfielders like Smallwood and Sarsvik just couldn't keep up with Dan Crowley. He was simply too good. Patterson though, if he's fit, he's available, he has to start for me, and I think just the fresh legs in that midfield. We've got a lot of games coming up in such a short period of time and a very ageing squad. You need to chop and change where you can, so Patterson for me absolutely should come back into the side. And at left wing back I will go with Lewis Richards. Again, really impressed with him. I think he's come on leaps and bounds from last season. He's really made that left wing back spot his own. Now Tyreek Wright's back, he does need to maintain that level if he wants to stay in the side, because we know Graham Alexander certainly does prefer the former Plymouth Argyle man. But Lewis Richards for me, excellent against Port Vale. His delivery into the box, his ability to beat a man as well, absolutely brilliant. Defensively as well, has been pretty solid, and I think him and Kelly are going to be very important, as I mentioned earlier, to double up on someone of the quality of Dylan Markande. As my 2 number 10s then, at first I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. I know he played a little bit deeper against Port Vale and has done for the last couple of matches, but I'd like to see him be pushed on a little bit higher, get him in their more advanced positions, because I think at times defensively he does lose his whereabouts a little bit, and I like to see Patterson be a bit deeper. I think you need that driving energy in the midfield a bit more deeper rather than going forward. Anthony Sarcevic has that quality in the final third. We've just not quite really seen it yet. I actually thought he was quite poor against Port Vale in all honesty, but I'd still like to see him start in this one just a little bit further forward, because I don't think Kavanagh was amazing again. And partnering him in that other number 10 spot I would go with Jamie Walker. Again, Bobby Poynton I don't think really stood out too much against Port Vale, wasn't really in the game all too much. He helped run the clock down a little bit towards the end of the match, but I think he's much better as an impact sub. And again, fresh legs, just keep things rotated, change it up nicely. When a player's not playing amazing, bring them out of the side for the game. We can always put him back in against Barrow on New Year's Day. But I'd like to see Walker get another opportunity. His minutes recently have been very limited, as we knew that there would be when we had all them injuries and he was one of our few fit number 8s, number 10s available. He didn't really take his chance. I'd like to see him get another chance in this one though, see what his creativity is all about, and hopefully we can press that Chesterfield backline with his very good high pressing. Not quite Premier League quality as Corbyn once claimed, but I would still like to see him get the start in this game. And as the striker, Andy Cook, I've absolutely run out of superlatives to describe that man. I love him, he's a legend, probably the best player I've ever seen play for Bradford City. Think about when I've started watching Bradford City, but in terms of a goal scoring ability, 100% the best goal scorer. Naki Wells this, James Hansen that, Andy Cook is better. Think about the players that Naki Wells and James Hansen had feeding them, and then think about some of the gremlins that have been feeding Andy Cook over the last couple of seasons. The amount of goals that he scored, I think he's up to 85 now for Bradford City, scored 100 in the EFL, absolute legend, 100% starts this game, and the eternity that he's with at Bradford City. On the bench then for me, that would leave Colin Doyle, Jay Ben, Jack Shepherd, Corey Evans, Bobby Poynton, Clark Adore and Ollie Sanderson. The players currently unavailable are Callum Johnson, who should hopefully be back in the next couple of weeks or so, which will obviously be pretty nice to actually see him play football. Joe Adams, as we know, this will be the final game which will probably be on this list, and then he will return back to Wigan. But then Oliver, who's currently out for the next couple of matches, he had some sort of infection in some scar tissue, so he's had surgery on that, so he's going to be out for a few weeks. So the players who miss out then through selection will be Zach Hady, Chet Diabate, Neil Byrne, Gabriel Wadsworth, Tyreek Wright, Callum Kavanagh, Turner, Tyler Smith and Harry Ibbotson. In terms of a score prediction for this match, I'm going to go with a high-scoring 2-2 draw. With us beating Port Vale, a point here wouldn't be the end of the world, but we still have to be looking to get the 3 points. Then we must beat Barrow on New Year's Day because they're in an absolutely terrible run of form, and obviously we saw how poor they were in the reverse fixture not too many weeks ago, not too many games ago. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.